Hello, everybody. Back with some more delicious, tasty records and music exploration. Sorry, I can't even take myself seriously. For all of you Northerners, you should be happy to know that I live in South Florida and it is 85 degrees outside. So bundle up because I am sweating in my house. Look at this. Seriously. I mean, what the hell? Why am I sweating? The AC's running. It's hot. But you know what it probably is? It's this hot pile of wax I got. No, look at that. McCoy Tyner, Atlantis. I should start off by saying I went to a record show down in Fort Lauderdale a couple weeks ago, and I got lots of goodies. Some of them have been on the want list for a long time, and it's always good when you can scratch things off the want list. So, as I was saying, Atlantis, McCoy Tyner, live recording from 75. Double album set, long extended tracks, and very spiritual jazz-esque, kind of along the line of Pharoah Sanders' sort of impulse stuff from the 60s, but a bit more fusion-y, a bit more kind of, I don't want to say jazz rock, but jazz fusion-y going on. Very cool. And cheap as well. You could usually find a lot of McCoy Tyner's 70s stuff pretty damn cheap, and it's almost always good. Gil Scott Heron, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, a compilation set of his first two albums on Flying Dutchman, Pieces of a Man, and I can't remember the other one, Free Spirit or something like that. I can't remember. I'm sure it says on here somewhere. And I'm not seeing it. Either way, Gil Scott Heron, if you don't know him, sort of a jazz, soul, spoken word vocalist, proto-rap, some of the songs, other songs are kind of soulful and bluesy. Beautiful album all the way around. Very, I should say, socially conscious for the time period. Cannot go wrong with Gil Scott Heron. Very happy to pick that one up. Jean-Michel Jarre, if I'm pronouncing that properly, Oxygen. Good ambient electronic music, I should say. I first found out about him because of a band he was in, like Zuluk or something like that. My dad liked it when I was a kid. And I found this record at a thrift store a long time ago, but it was destroyed. And I always thought, one of these days I'm going to get it. So eventually I did. Very exciting. Big Black! Songs about fucking. However, it's not really songs that you're going to want to play if you're going to try and seduce a lady. Harsh noise rock with a punk edge. Steve Albini plays guitar on this. And it's just, it's harsh everywhere. It's harsh in its recording, it's harsh in its playing, and it's something I've wanted for a while, so I was very happy to get it. And it's like a pristine copy as well. It was like, holy crap, it doesn't look like they've even breathed on the thing. But regardless, off Touch and Go Records from 80-something, I believe. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Killer album. Lester Bowie, All the Magic 2 LP set. One side played with a big band, the other disc is just Lester Bowie solo, dedicated to his mother who passed away. So it's a very beautiful album, very soulful album, but mostly it sounds sort of like a old school New Orleans jazz through most of it. Pretty cool. Off of ECM 1983. Magma! I don't know how you pronounce this. Tonkatoes? I don't know how the hell you pronounce it. Progressive music, very sort of. Magma has their own sound. It's sort of playful in a way. Best way I could put it. My first Magma, very happy to get that one. And my first black jazz, while we're on the subject, Doug Karn, Spirit of the New Land. Spiritual jazz. His wife sings on it. Very sort of soulful singing, if you would put it. But also just sort of like a straight up jazz vocalist. But musically, very spiritual, self-conscious album, or I should say socially conscious album. Absolutely beautiful. Anything on black jazz is pretty much guaranteed to be a winner. And that's my first on them. Always pleases me. One I've wanted for a really long time, Fish Rising, Steve Hillage. Awesome progressive album, fusion-y. Steve Hillage is a guitar player, so there's lots of really good guitar on here. A lot of really good solo, a lot of really good just jam rhythm going on, and something I've been wanting for a while. You know, it's something that you could have bought, you know, when you look at an album, you're like, oh, I could get that. It's not that expensive, you know, $10, $15, $20. But you're like, well, I mean, I'll save $10 or so if I just find it in the wild. But, you know, it took me a long time to find it in the wild. Speaking of another, it took me a long time to find in the wild. Robin Kenyatta, Girl from Martinique. Oh, what a beautiful album this is. ECM 1008. Early ECM. This is a U.S. pressing from 73, but the album came out in 1970. This album kind of goes everywhere. It's jazz. It's jazz fusion. It's folk. It's free jazz. I mean, it's everywhere. It's great. From one song to the next, he'll be playing like the flute, and it's like a solo flute part, and you think, ooh, it's very earthy and folky and really pretty. But then the next song, he's playing saxophone, and you're like, oh, okay, that's like John Coltrane sort of experimental out there. Just a beautiful record. Each song is different from itself, but still centered somehow together where everything seems harmonious. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And one I've been wanting like for 10 years, and I just have not found it in the wild. Oliver Lake, Heavy Spirits. Oliver Lake, anything I could pick up from him, I pick up. This is, I would call it a free jazz album. Still has some rhythmy parts to it, but mostly just sort of everybody play. If that makes sense. This is off of the what is it? The Arista Freedom label. Very cool label. Air Force 2. I believe it's 2. Yeah, Air Force. Ginger Baker's Air Force 2. I have the 1, now I got the 2. May he rest in peace. Picked it up on cheap and the sly. It's kind of a progressive album because it's straight up classic rock, but there are bits of blues and soul in there and stuff. So I guess you could kind of call it like progressive light. However you want to. Frightwig. Some punk. Love me some punk. I have been getting heavy into punk lately, and it's weird because I've always kind of liked punk, but I've always just kind of put it on the back burner. And I don't know, lately it's just been like, I've been getting into it, and I've been buying a couple like 7-inch EPs, which we'll talk about that later. Save that for another day. But Frightwig, all-female punk group, very sort of screamy vocals, but also really just upbeat and fun. Can't really call it like pop punk, but I suppose that's the best way to put it. From 85, I believe, or 1990. I was a little off. This was a cool record to find. Something I had on my want list that I forgot I had on my want list. But Arnie Lawrence, Look Towards the Dream, from 68, I believe, 68. This is cool because not only is Arnie Lawrence on it, and he's a great saxophone player, but you have the great Larry Coryell on guitar. So this is like a great jazz fusion / kind of progressive album with a couple songs that has a female singer on there, which is sort of like almost like a swing pop thing going on when she sings. But it feels very sort of 60s manufactured, if that makes sense. Like, if in 68 your grandpa was like, oh, you know, I love jazz and I never listened to jazz fusion, but I can get this because it's jazz fusion light. Yeah, that's my grandpa. It kind of sounds like that. It's very sort of mainstream, but it's a very good album. And I mean, if you can find it, pick it up. I believe it's actually kind of rare, but I don't know. Larry Coryell with Roy Haynes and Richard Davis. Come on now. You know it's got to be good. Andrew Hill live at Montreux, if that's how you pronounce it. Solo piano, very, very cool. I mean, it's jazz solo piano, but he does a little exploration, a little free jazz, a little blues to put in there for the hell of it. I don't know. I really like Andrew Hill. Picked it up cheap. This is an album I have. It's an album I got for free long time ago, and it is a destroyed copy. So I finally got a listenable copy. Frank Zappa, Hot Rats. If you do not know this album, I can't help you. Just look it up. One of his best. Charles Lloyd, Nirvana. Some cheap Charles Lloyd going on. Always pick up Charles Lloyd if I don't have it, and that one I didn't have. And last we have to show Captain Beefheart and his magic band, the very bizarre, very weird, let's call it acquired taste, Trout Mask Replica. Trout Mask Replica. This is not an original on straight. It is a reprise issue from 73 or 74. So a repress, but an early repress. And it is just, if you haven't heard this record, it's out there. Picture blues rock, but mixed with like free jazz and angular like noise punk thing going on. It's everywhere. It's bizarre. It's weird. And I've been wanting it for a while. It was the most expensive record I picked up. And it really is kind of like I said, it's an acquired taste. But once you listen to it, it just gets better every single time. So, very harsh, but fabulous, and very happy to get it. That was my score. Went to the, spent a lot. but it takes money for the record collection to grow. And like I said, most of this was stuff that has been on my want list for a really long time. So I'm very excited about it. I hope you all are excited about it for me. And, until next time.